dream. What's that? What's going to be the high?
High 74 on Saturday, all sun. 81 on Sunday. So you might want to get a ride on Tuesday. It's 92.
No shit. Next Tuesday it's going to be 92.
We're all 90s and 80s all of next week. And Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, I'm going to have to ask permission to ride on Monday. I think. Very nicely.
It's Thursday. Oh, rain.
This next Thursday?
This coming Thursday.
We're giving weather reports.
Cloudy in the morning, showers in the afternoon hours. I was going to do that the
Spirited ride out this Thursday?
Yeah, but if it's pissing rain, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Wednesday's supposed to be good. I'm hoping Wednesday's going to be good because I have a mountain bike race to do on Wednesday. It's after 6 o'clock. Our third guest is yet to appear. He said he might be a little late because he actually has a job and shit. So I'm going to just talk a little slower than I normally do in my intro, which means I probably won't fuck it up. So before we begin, guess what? We are live on Podbean as well as YouTube. All you need to do to play along with our live shenanigans is download the free Podbean app, and you can not only listen live, but actually call into the show. Whoa, you're welcome. Yeah. And you can also participate via our YouTube channel in the chat. We are live every Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific. Right here. Now let's make sure to mention that the show is consistently is a better word, supported by our friends at Gooder Sunglasses. If you've been paying attention, you know that Gooder is constantly, there's the constantly, I should have used it, I fucked it up, changing and adding styles to go with just about any situation, holiday or mood, not to mention, but I will. They cost a maximum of $35 a pair. What? Yes, they cost a maximum of $35 a pair. Go to Gooder.com. You know what? Fuck it. Tell them Packfiller sent you. Also, a big thanks to the one and only Giant Bicycles. A bike for every terrain, a bike for every speed, a bike for every surface. But we're not sure if they have any bikes. Check out all their offerings at your local bike shop. That's right. Go to your local Giant dealer. Support the LBS. Ride Life. Ride Giant. So, fuck it. Let's do this, shall we? Keep the theme low so we don't drown out Jackson. Yeah, we'll keep it really low. We got word that Nightwing's been drowned out just because he's on Zoom, and we were saying before we went on the air that in some cases Zoom has a tendency to just be like, okay, I'm fine. I'll just stay back here. I won't. No, it's okay. And we understand that. So we're gonna see what we can do here, you guys. It is Monday. It is 6 o'clock. The beverages are poured, and our cameras are working. No random crowd pictures here, unlike the Giro stage. I've got a lot of Giro stage jokes today. Welcome to another episode of the Packfiller. I am Pat Bulger. With me are tonight's panel of experts on all things related on two wheels. Let's just say if they were Italians at today's Giro stage, who would they be? Number one, he'd be the guy who only pulls his mask up when he notices the camera's on him, Paul Main. Hello. Actually, that's not correct. Paul would be the guy who actually got in his rental car, drove up to the top of the pass, and watched it, and probably streamed it live in person. Mm-hmm. That's better. That's better, isn't it? Yeah. Next, he'd be the guy who doesn't smile for the camera because he's obviously freezing his ass off and is depressed that he can't see the race footage. That's Jackson Bulger. How are you, man?
Good. Thank you very much.
Oh, I heard it better on that one.
Yeah.
That sounded better. Yeah, that sounded better. Third, he's not here, so I can say something about him, and he's supposed to be here shortly. He hasn't been here in a while. He might have gotten lost. He might have gotten directions from Jack. He's the guy who's maskless and obviously hammered from his previous 6 Peronis and a full bottle of Grappa. So he's not here yet, but we're going to welcome to the show Bike Fit Sam Waples. So we'll drink to the empty microphone where Sam's supposed to be sitting.
It looks quite lonely.
It does. Me, I'm the guy in the Borat G-string. You're welcome. I'm Pat Bulger. Yeah. He just finished fitting. Sam just texted me on my Dick Tracy watch that he just finished fitting Keith, an Arrive rider who bought a brand new Pinarello Dogma. Yeah. 10 minutes out. Should I still come? I don't want to interrupt. Well, What's their comments on the Apple Watch are thank you, yes please, it's okay, no, best of luck, I am sorry, or hello. Which should I choose? What do you guys think?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Oh, hello.
Should I still come? Yes, please.
I said yes, please. It sounds like something my parents would say. Yeah, he can interrupt, and we're gonna bust his balls when he's getting here. Before we begin, I'd like to take this opportunity to personally apologize to Mr. Simon Yates. If you watched the Giro stage today,
I did the same thing.
You noticed
we
that
both
I picked
were in
him, but I think I'm the curse.
No.
And I picked him, and he sucked donkey balls today. It was ugly. Does anybody have any idea or how many, or in my case, few points they have in the Giro competition? I don't have the stage
I have 11.
updates in front of us. Paul, you have 11? Mm-hmm. Jackson, do you know how many points you have?
21.
Oh, shit! I have 3.
This is how bad mine is. I scratched my only pick. I was for sure was going to be Bernal, but everybody picked it, so I scratched.
So did I.
So I gambled.
We're people for others, Paul.
I picked George Bennett.
Oh fuck! Mm-hmm. He finished with his new set on
who
today.
Crashed out. Yeah, I know. And then my kind of like opportunist
was
Remco.
Oh shit!
Rough day.
And then my sprinter, Caleb Ewan.
Caleb Ewan is
That's
gone.
where I got 10 points from.
You got 10 points.
Yeah, and I got one for George Bennett that he didn't have a point until he got in that little scrap on that one stage, and he was cut off in the sprint. And
but he got
third.
complimentary third place because of the little fight.
1 point.
Fuck. Jackson, you picked Bernal. You picked Yates, right? No, you picked Vlasov.
I did pick Vlasov. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh yeah.
He went
Vlasov
down.
Didn't have.
Had a rough day today.
But everybody had a rough day today. And your sprinter was Sagan, which means you missed your consistency.
Yep.
This is how to get 23 points in the Giro coverage. And
He's had a couple of thirds, right? Is that about it?
Yeah, he's had 2 thirds and a first.
Yeah.
Who was your up? Go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, and as it seems, I think he's like the only sprinter left besides Gaviria. So.
Yeah,
he's ahead by... did I print it out? I don't think I printed it out, how it was looking. But anyway, we'll get more into the Giro as we go. I think it's common knowledge who I picked, and if I did, their careers are coming to a screeching halt. And I'm sorry to everyone. I thought Elia Viviani would maybe find something to muster, but he's my only points. I've gotten a couple third places, and that's about it. So my life sucks. So anyway, we can land a man on the moon. We can cure a pandemic. We can even talk to somebody through our watch, like I just did. But can somebody please tell me why we apparently can't get coverage of a bike race when the weather's icky?
Well, I heard that it was through 4G service because they couldn't let the planes or the helicopters go.
The weather.
And I think it's Rob Hatch. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying today that because of that, the coverage was so poor. And obviously the weather.
There was a guy at the summit. Did you see the story of the guy at the summit? There was just a random dude at the summit streaming from his phone. His phone.
Yeah.
And more people were able to log in and watch that. While Eurosport.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the CW. This is Eurosport. Weren't able to get coverage.
Yeah, because it comes through RCS. That's the controls all the cameras. And so one thing I did find out this morning, I stumbled across it.
What?
Did you know NBC Gold is also carrying the Giro?
Really?
Yeah. So this is what I do because my 2 favorite commentators are Daniel Lloyd and Matt Stevens. So Matt Stevens is on the NBC Gold. So once Lloyd leaves and Rob Hatch takes over, I switch over to listen to Matt, who you interviewed.
Yeah, I did. Thank you for Where's my bell
ching, ching.
sound? Oh God, I'm so bad. I'm so slow on the on the sound effects, it's almost like I shouldn't even bother anymore. I'm just terrible. I just suck. I've got 3 laptops in front of me and a soundboard and all this stuff. And
it's like you need your son here.
Jackson's just sitting there with a pretty blue scratched bike behind his head. and at some point in time, his significant other is going to come on screen and turn on the oven.
Yeah.
We'll see that
dinner
happening.
time.
Yeah, we'll see that happening.
Papa Murphy's.
No, yeah, but okay. Before we get into the Giro, guys. This is a whole thing I have for Sam. But how's the riding week been going, guys? Let's do our normal check-in and see how everybody's riding week went. Jackson, you want to go first and tell? Are you looking at your training program right now, or?
No, I was just looking around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, things been good. I was able, besides having my second shot last week, which did not really hinder too many things, which is really nice. I rode 3 times last week, twice by myself, once with my girlfriend, which was really good. So with having the shot, I'll take that for my first week back here.
No kidding.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm still in the mentality of old days where I used to be thinking that I had to train for something super, super, super hardcore. And if I'm still in my brain thinking that if you don't get a 5-day ride week, it's not a good enough week. And I have to come to the conclusion that that's not going to happen very often anymore.
That's why they have Masters Racing. Because everybody else is in the same boat.
No fucking way. I guarantee you there are masters out there getting 5-day weeks.
There is.
Yeah.
But, the most of us are.
Their marriages are probably failing, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Okay. Paul, how was your ride week?
Pretty horrible, but, had my grandson's 6th birthday on Saturday, and I was bringing tables over and doing odd pieces like that. And so then the party went off, and at 1 o'clock and didn't leave there until about 6. It was. Yeah. No alcohol.
No, what?
Yeah. So you can imagine I was just extremely bored. I started the inner curmudgeon was really telling kids, quit bouncing so high. Like, you're
going to fall.
Yeah.
I got to return
that sucker out of your mouth when you're running.
Grandpa's got a deposit on that.
Yeah, that's right. So then I promised the spousal unit that I would move a couple of bushes and shrubs in the morning, and it took a lot longer than I thought. So I thought, I'm going to get on the bike, and I did about an hour. I think it was a little over an hour of intervals. And 7 miles.
Oh, so fast stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think. I rode the race on Wednesday. There are a couple things I need to comment on. Number one, I rode the race on Wednesday, and my strap died on me, and I was without it until late Friday. And I have to say, I've become addicted to this thing. That I was actually getting uncomfortable with the fact that I wasn't able to check my race data and all this kind of stuff. And this should be a topic for a show itself, because I was so obsessed with it that I was between this and Strava. I was like, I need to be training, and I need to be seeing this information, and I need to, not like I need to post it, not like I need that type of a mental pat on the back, but I was freaking out over it, and I've become dependent upon these devices to measure my rides and things like that. Even though it was on my computer, my bike computer, and things like that, but it wasn't uploading to Strava and all this kind of stuff, and I started to get angry with it. And then at one point, later on in my story, my wife and I went to Winthrop, Washington this weekend, testing out our new RV. Our new puker, I call it. It dawned on me. I was like, holy shit. I remember the days. Hey, you boys. Yeah, I remember the days when you would just rely upon your Avocet computer at the most. That was your data. That was your information. Time, speed, and miles. And that was it. You went home after your ride, and that was it. Maybe you wrote it down in your journal or something like that, and that was it. And I went, fuck, dude, just relax. I couldn't. I've become dependent upon these things. Is that a bad thing?
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah, Jackson's nodding his head back and forth. No. Well, we are video, but yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you don't think so, Jay? That I've become dependent upon these devices?
Guess who's here?
No, I don't think
Sam's here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. Just because I think that these metrics are like really great training tools. Like I train with heart rate. I know a lot of people train with power and everything, so I think that those type of things are really good, especially with the Whoop strap. It's great to know like how recovered you've been.
Yeah.
As well, so you know when you're primed for a specific thing. I think living and dying by those numbers is a whole other conversation, but I think that, I don't think it's bad to depend on them, not need them though.
Sam just walked in and he couldn't hear Jackson. Sam, are you addicted to your power meter or Whoop strap or heart rate or anything like that when you train?
Heart rate more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not really my power meter. I didn't have it for years.
Mine died this weekend, and I was freaking out.
That is devastating.
I lost my shit, man.
Yeah,
I was just like, if it doesn't go to Strava, it doesn't happen. And I think that's bullshit to say that.
But you believe it because it sets you up.
It did.
His beard just fell over.
I'm scared that there's a steel reserve can in there.
He's pulling it out.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Back from a little hiatus. The one and only Bike Fit Sam Waples. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Good to be here.
Jackson's online with us, too. Say hi, Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
Hello.
That's your mic. Pull it down towards you, stuff like that. We were just catching up on who did what for riding this week. And I was going to share the fact that I did go to Winthrop, Washington, camping. It was cool. We got to try out the new RV, but that's a whole different story that has nothing to do with cycling. But this story has to do with the fact that on Saturday, I had this ride downloaded from Ride with GPS, and it was an 80-miler, 10,000 feet of climbing. I'm like, I'm going to kick my ass. And I left the campground, and I had to ride about 8 miles to the start of the loop. And I'm like, whoa, this is even better. And then I started climbing. And I did that for 3.5 hours straight.
That's how you got your 10,000 feet of
hours.
climbing.
I didn't get 10,000. I got 5,000 feet of climbing, and I ran into so much snow that the trail, the dirt road I was on my gravel bike, was covered with snow. And I at one point I had to walk a little bit, and then I looked at my watch and I told my wife I'd be back in like 4.5 hours, and it was 3 hours and 40 minutes already. And I went, I just got to turn around and go down. And so I ascended for 5,000 feet, and then I turned around and descended for 5,000 feet, all on horrible, horrible washboards. And I'm holding my wrist intentionally because Jackson knows that I have a tendency to overinflate my tires.
Yeah.
Fuck. It hurts so bad. A couple times I just stopped. I would just stop on the side of this road in the middle of nowhere and just go, owie.
Did you dip him in the snow?
I should have, but I was past the snow level at that point in time. So it was just, it was such a woe is me moment. And then I got down to the actual paved roads, and horrible, horrible headwind and rain started. And I was just going, this is just God. He's not upset. Maybe he's upset with me. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Jinxing riders.
I do. It's my curse. I fuck riders' careers, and so this is the riders going, I hope that asshole has a really bad ride.
They have a Pat doll where they're doing.
Yeah, they're all listeners, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Sam, man, welcome back. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm totally whooped today because
Let's get that a little closer to you. Yeah, you can pull it, force it. Or you can move towards it.
Yeah,
sweet.
Better.
There we go.
So yesterday I had just one heck of a ride with a guy who's actually doing this event with me, and
we're gonna get into the event.
Yeah, and he is just an absolute animal, and so he just knew I was on the ropes from like a hard day Saturday. I did 90 something miles on the road bike, and then my wife, when I get home, was like, we never ride together anymore. And I was like, okay.
No.
So load up the mountain bikes, go do a few laps at Beacon. So I was properly shelled after yet another night of too much alcohol on Saturday. So day he just raked me through the coals, and he knew I was dying, and we averaged like just over 20 miles an hour for an 80-mile ride, and I don't remember a lot of the ride. I remember hurting.
Oh my God.
And so I'm recovering today.
So why do you never get to the point at 20 miles an hour where you just go, no?
I did.
Okay. You just stopped and
Pulled
got dropped?
No.
You
just... I don't know. I mean, he keeps like looking back, and I'm like, this friend is just a sick motherfucker. He just looks back and he goes, "You good?" Yep.
And you're just holding on.
Staring at his cogs.
I'm not even going to pretend that I was up front. I was holding on for dear. We were going around Newman Hauser. That
yeah, Jackson. We know that one.
Yep. And he was averaging 26, 27 around the whole thing. We top 10'd it. He top 10'd it. Sorry, that was...
No, you were there. You were there.
I was along for the ride.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So tell me about this challenge you've set up for yourself.
Yeah, so back in 2013, I went with this friend who I was riding with this weekend, and there was a group of riders who had done this 220-mile loop up in Bellingham, Washington. So I was like, well, we could do that faster. And so it involves going up Mount Baker. We averaged like 19.5 for this 220-mile ride. And once again, shouldn't use the word we, because he did probably 70% of that ride at the very minimum. And I think I was just there for inspiration.
Sure.
Because...
like I do with Paul.
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm there.
There was a dark moment going up Baker, and he's like, uh-oh, we've overdone it. And, he looks back at me, and I'm just, soul has left my body. And he is like, Sam, we might need to turn back. I was like, if we just keep taking pulls, we'll get there eventually.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So at that point, we did it. And we get home, totally exhausted. And I just look at him, and I'm like, what if we just did Bellingham to Spokane? Because, at that point, I mean, it's only another 130 miles.
Holy shit. What's the total distance?
It's 355 or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So in less than a month, on June 17th, we are there's 7 of us now. There was 8, embarking on a trip from Bellingham at midnight to Spokane at midnight the next day.
That's the objective.
That's the objective.
You praying for westerly winds?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been doing our nightly prayers.
Yeah.
And no rain, because rain in the past in June would be a layer of hell that I don't want to see.
Kind of climbing elevation for people who don't live in Washington are you estimating? Or do you know?
It's 18,000 to 20,000 is the last map that we did.
I'm just pausing because it's okay, Jackson and I are doing Belgian Waffle. It's 135 miles. It's 10,000 feet of climbing. We're paying entry fee. It's an award. You get, it's a challenge you get at the end. Maybe a little notoriety, all that kind of stuff. We get beer and stuff like that. It's a trip. Yada yada. Hey. You're just fucking doing this. There's no entry fee. There's nobody's watching. This could just happen in the dark of the night. You could die alone. Yes. Is basically what I'm saying.
I can, what I've thought about recently? I can lose a lot of friends in one day. These are all my best friends from riding, right? Closest teammates. And I'm the one that signed us up for this.
You ever see Deliverance?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of.
It might be off. I might have just dated the shit out of myself, Paul. No, not off color. Just dated
I thought
myself.
you were going to go squeal like a pig.
No, well, yeah. But it was 4 friends who started off on a wonderful adventure together, and things rafting. They were rafting.
Okay,
you guys are just going off on a little trip.
Yeah,
things
but we
went
do. I mean, we've thought this through, right? So when I was assembling this A team, right? We yeah, exactly. There's your old reference. So
Jay's I'm gonna look at my phone. Fuck these guys.
I picked 4 guys that are just absolute beasts on the bike, right? They can just set this tempo all day long.
Yeah.
we have my brother who's now going to be a resident, so we have medical there, right? I can do PT, and then we have 2 guys who are just, like, fun-spirited.
Food.
Yes.
They're the food.
Yes.
If you get stuck in the mountains,
Yes.
you eat them first.
Exactly. So I think that we've, put together a good group of people for this. And we have a guy who's filming it, who's doing a professional film on it. So it's like there will be something really cool, like 30, 40-minute film on it. So there will be, like everyone will be able to see the soul leave our eyes.
Oh, I'm going to want to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to want to see it.
It'll be really cool. That's like you're talking about the award and all that. I think that's the award for us, is being able to see, like,
something documenting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because, like, this is my farewell song. Yeah, this is my swan song. Like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing an endurance ride like this. Like, endurance is...
Believe that about as far as I can throw it.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says
make it
that.
an annual thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I need to say it on this podcast so that I can re-listen to this in a couple of years
and
be like, do not do this, Sam.
Oh, shit. And so your preparation's been just fast junk miles kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've all been doing different stuff, but because all of us have different schedules. But my thing has been, don't go too far in the tank for mental state, right? Like, being on a bike for 10 hours at a time is mentally draining.
Sure.
So do that a few times and, eat plenty of food. Like, the biggest thing is I have to be able to eat food for 20 hours.
Yeah.
So I've just been pacing it out. And honestly, I don't have a coach. I'm not doing anything crazy. I just let's just log some miles and see where we end up. But mixing in some intensity. So I do like a big week where it's like, 300 miles. And then I do like, a short week where it's like 100 miles.
And, okay, wow. And that's, what do they say? After a certain distance, it just becomes a question of fueling. How well you keep eating. Yeah. And if you just.
Are you willing to die today?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, shit. Any added events? Jackson, actually, how's the postgraduate take a break time working? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean that in, like, sweet.
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't take it that way. It's been good, yeah. I've been able to kind of keep up on some little tiny things. I was able to... Yesterday, I noticed that my front disc rotor was rubbing a little bit, so I worked on that. And you want to know how long it took? Like 5 seconds, so that's really nice.
Paul's being an asshole. Good. Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Well, I've had rim brakes rubbed. Too.
Yeah. What do you do?
True the wheel.
No, you just hit the little quick release and you don't have a problem.
Keep it bad. Yeah. So don't fix it. Just ignore it.
No, I mean if you're on a ride, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something happened on the ride, you just quick release.
Do you see those little keychain things, Jackson, you can put on that actually helps you align the brakes? I've seen them all over social media. I think it's because we talked about 2
sheets of metal, basically.
Yeah.
Or you just loosen it up all the way. I just did this to Keith's bike. Rotate the wheel and then squeeze the brake.
Yeah.
It locks it in. Yeah, locks it right in. Tighten the bolts down.
Yeah. Exactly what I did.
Or you could have rim brakes and you won't have that problem.
That's true.
Fuck. How did the
dying old man?
We were saying. How did we were talking about I read your text live on the air that how did Keith do? How does the bike?
Man, that is a cool bike.
Really?
That is a really cool bike. And I've never I know.
Why don't you tell the listeners what it is?
Yeah. So he has a Pinarello Dogma F12. But like the highest mod out there, so full Dura-Ace Di2 disc brake.
It is Di2. He told me he wasn't doing it.
Actually, you know what? I back up on that. I don't think it is Di2.
It's full Dura-Ace, though.
It is full Dura-Ace.
It's mechanical.
It might be mechanical.
Yeah.
Man, the thing is...
Shifting the gears is not part of fitting.
No. I didn't do that. But now that I think about the levers, adjusting the levers, they did seem larger than your normal. Like, the Jacksons are... They look like a typical mechanical shifter that doesn't have hydraulic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they can do that when they don't have to feed in all the wiring and stuff.
Sure.
But, I mean, just such a cool bike. And you just pick that thing up and it's feather light. And I've never really had any necessary tie to Pinarello. Never really had a tie to any bike as long as it's comfortable and it's, rips. But it was a really cool bike. And it was disc brake.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But it was still...
Jackson. He was telling me that he had to convince his wife that he said, honey, my current bike, he was on a Pinarello, and he says this bike is like 12 years old. He says my new bike will be another 12 years. He says, so at my age, this could be the last bike I buy.
That's a good line.
Wasn't that nice? Yeah. I said to him, I was like, dude, nice job, because I could never get away with that one.
You sure Keith didn't say to his wife, my bike's 12 years old. That's older than Jack's 11-year-old bike.
Yeah.
That's probably his. I have the oldest bike. Yeah.
But you can't compare anything to Jack, because that won't get you anything. She'll be like, well, look where that got him.
True.
He's in Squim eating oysters.
Yeah.
Oh man. So how's Sam, talk to me about the bike fit biz. It sounds like you're a bit busy these days.
Yeah, it's been taking off, which has been really fun. I've been I think it was last week or the week before, I had 8 to 10 bike fits that week, which is, it's all relative, because when I was following this guy over in Seattle, he does 40 bike fits a week. He's a PT over there, so he just pumps them out. That's all he does. So in relation to that, that's not that many. But when I was at a bike shop, I would do like 1 or 2 bike fits a week. So it's definitely been taking off, and it's been cool to see how much it's grown in the last 6 months alone.
Is it new bikes, or is it people who are going, ow, my back hurts, something's fucking wrong here?
Definitely a combo of everything. I have a lot of different local bike shops that, will sell a bike and then hey, if you really want this thing to be dialed in, go see this guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, super cool. And it's just my sell on that was just hey, I don't want any of your, I want you to sell bikes and be very, prosperous with that, but I want to just make it so that those bikes rip. So it's been a good relationship, but the other part has definitely been patients that are there that are trying to rehab from an injury, and you can optimize the bike to make it so it, is better for hips or knees or XYZ. So definitely a mix of everything from new to old. That's why I'm it doesn't matter what bike you're riding. You can benefit from a bike fit.
But really, when you're taking an Allen wrench to a Huffy or something like that, you're just kind of fuck. You tell me that it's not in the back of your head a little bit or something like that. Okay, you don't have to say that. I don't want to damage your career position or something like that. But I'd be just Jesus Christ, man. Fucking Novartis.
Yeah, but it's
nobody
if they feel
rides
comfortable, right?
things.
You're probably thinking they're going to say, this doesn't. I remember it hurting. Now I feel good. I'm going to buy a better bike.
See, I have to agree. That is my thing. And
you guys are all half full.
But it is. It's that. But I'm also the hoity-toityness of some of the high-end road stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Man, when I'm riding by any cyclist on the trail, a connecting trail, I'm hey, how's it going? Yeah. And you see a lot of those roadies in particular that are just I don't talk to anyone.
They don't fucking wave.
Oh yeah, they're I'm really serious.
Is there a specific? Okay, apparently a lot of current patients and stuff like that are coming through Tailwind, stuff like that. But is there a demographic that you can? I'm basically trying to get a finger on the pulse of where cycling is going. Are you seeing more roadies? Are you seeing more gravel and mountain? Are you seeing commuters? Are you seeing, heaven forbid, triathletes? Sorry, I said the word.
Yeah,
said the word. So I just washed my mouth out.
Jesus.
I am seeing a lot of triathletes because of Ironman kicking up, right?
Sure.
And you know what? They're on 2 wheels, so that's great. Mm-hmm. But I think we talked about this on the bike ride. Mm-hmm. Just pick a sport, pick bikes, because bikes are the right way to go.
Amen.
Right? But no, I'm super stoked to fit everyone. But I would say that right now, definitely triathletes. And then your Gran Fondo people. People, there's a lot of people out there that are just getting into bikes that are buying your, kind of more comfort-oriented road bike and just are doing local big rides, which is cool.
A friend of mine actually visited you. Is probably in that block of 8 that you had, John Bozo.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh man, it made world's difference." So,
God. Okay.
This guy's like 240 pounds, 30. He's probably gonna kill me. I'm not that old.
Careful, Paul. Careful.
Yeah.
Fucking
he's
careful.
a big
You
boy.
are treading on thin ice.
He played football, and he looks like he still could play
Still
football.
linebacker.
Yeah, he is broad.
But I will never forget doing a ride with him, and I go up to him like, John, have you ever considered a bike fit? I'm like, I can help you.
Yeah.
And he's like, he is apparently just a little more stubborn than Paul, because like it took me a long time to crack him to
What?
Yeah.
And he was not willing to nope, I had this fit back in the 70s. And
That's Paul. That is Paul.
Exactly. He's rolled his numbers over.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, that guy, huge difference, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a big kick in who used to be racers and are now getting more into your recreational riding and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see the return of riders.
Yeah.
When I'm not hosting a mildly successful podcast, I teach theater, and Jackson's also a now graduated theater major. And when we watch movies, I'm sure Jackson does this too. If you're watching, for example, I watched that most recent Tom Clancy one with Michael B. Jordan in it. And I criticized the shit out of it. It was terrible. I mean, there was a couple moments that were pretty good. There were some lines that I'm sure Michael B. Jordan was going, I can't believe I have to fucking say this in front of a camera because this is a terrible script. And there was some acting in it that was absolutely atrocious. So that my career, I watch this and I actually go, are you fucking kidding me? When you're on a ride with group rides with people, do you have a tendency to look at people and go, are you fucking kidding me? What is wrong with you? I want to give advice, but I can't give unsolicited advice because I'll look like a roadie douchebag.
Yeah.
apparently, because we had that fit, I was one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
is Paul's position still bad too? Yeah.
No. It feeds into the stubbornness, right? He's just no, my body will cooperate, and I will hold this arrow position. It's like, Paul, I guarantee you.
My hamstring.
Exactly. But no, I definitely, it's when you're in the field, it's just like you watching movies. You're constantly criticizing it, and when I'm out with people, I'm like, I know I can beat you today just because of the position that you're in.
No shit. Wow.
So it's one of those things that you definitely are looking at all of that, and there's some where it's like, you start getting into it where you think about the injuries that maybe they've had that have landed them in that position, but man, you see some just awful bike fits out there, and I just wish that I could go by and...
But we're also in such a stage where, and Jackson, I'm not picking on your generation, I promise, where everybody's just like, don't criticize. They're out on their bike, man. Be nice, be cool, be pleasant. Just encourage them to keep going. Yada, yada, yada. But if it's just like you keep doing that, in 3 weeks you're going to be off that bike because your back is going to be killing you or something like that. Is there a fine line between the two?
Yes. But I mean, for me personally, I think that once again, the healthcare field, it's like, Jerry Maguire, help me, help you. It's like, I want to help everyone, right? But not everybody wants to be helped. So it's definitely one of those things where you just can say simple things like, hey, I think that you could be adjusted with this, and this, make you, either more comfortable or ride faster. But if they're not going to pursue it, then it's like,
sure,
keep riding bikes, man.
Yeah. It's like Paul when he walks in here. He looks around the room and he goes, this is a fucking fire hazard. I shouldn't be here. I'm going to get fired just for being in this room. It is an electrical fire hazard. La, la, la.
La, la, la.
It's like Jackson listening to the show going, oh, fuck.
Dad.
Yeah, you don't even know who Vlasov is. Jesus, Dad, do your homework. Sam, my last question for you about bike fit. Have you ever scratched a bike?
Oh, while doing a bike fit?
Yeah.
He didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
If he did.
Right? No, I mean, I've definitely had moments where when you're working with the plumb bob or stuff, it drops down and it goes onto the crank. I mean, that happens definitely a lot. In where you're pumping around in the gym and you'll tip something.
Sure.
But I can't say that I've had any like dents or anything, but I've definitely had those moments of where I am just freaking out because I'm like, did I just scratch their brand
Nothing
new
is
bike?
grotesque of what he did to his son's bike,
Yeah,
right?
that was bad.
I was just like, I was waiting for you to say, no, the clients are really open to it. They're okay with it. They understand that these things happen. And Jackson, you have been very cool about it, dude.
Well, it's so tiny. It's no reason to cry over spilt milk, as I've recently said.
Oh, I did cry. I cried my goddamn eyes out. Just because it's such. Anyway, should we switch gears to the Giro a little bit? Sam, you up to speed on the Giro?
Yeah, for the most part.
Can we all admit that if Bernal's back holds out, the overall competition is pretty much over?
Mm-hmm.
Can we all say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was insane today.
Oh my God.
That weather.
Yeah. From what we saw, we were talking about that at the beginning. It's just like, okay, apparently we're just
going
going
to... a lot of people smiling at the finish line.
Oh my God. Maskless, too. It's just
Well, Italy has, when it comes to the COVID, they have different spots that are actually what they call white zones and stuff, that they are mask-free and stuff. It's not as a nation. They're done by zones, as far as I understand. So that might be where they're at is not, hit by COVID is bad. So they don't have that.
They call them white zones?
Yeah, white.
That's
they have different
really
colors.
bad color
Yeah,
choice.
it's like that's the best. Well, they're Italians. I mean, they surrender all the time. So yeah, white zone.
So Idaho is a white zone.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Jackson, I want your commentary on Peter Sagan leading by 22 points in the sprinter's jersey. I want your genuine, unbiased opinion on whether or not he's going to keep it.
I think that he's got a really good chance, especially because Nizzolo's dropped out, Merlier's dropped out, Ewan's dropped out. The only real sprinters that are left are, I think, Chamois, who's been up there in a lot of the sprints, and Gaviria, who went on that breakaway that one day and gathered a buttload of points. But I think that was really the only... those are really his only big competition. And I think because, like you said earlier, he is Mr. Consistency, that there's a big chance that he could keep it. And he knows when to go in the break on a good day. And he's got the team for this, especially with Bookman dropping out, unfortunately.
I thought you were going to include Bookman in it, and I'm like, uh-oh.
No, which I'm sure we'll get onto, but he's now got a team pretty much solely directed at him. So,
yeah, Gaviria, so there's nobody left.
No, they've already dropped out, which kind of is perfect for Sagan.
He wins by default.
Yeah, he's basically just got it, and that's
why he's pulling the pin early. He's just like waving to the camera, joking.
Yeah,
it's like this is a done deal.
So let's talk about surprises, up or down from any of you guys. I'd love to hear from anybody in terms of what wow, that's great, or holy shit, that's terrible. Anything that might have come through that surprised you throughout. For Yates, Evenepoel, Hugh Carthy currently on the podium, Vlasov, things like that. The little pissy fit that between the Bennett and who was with him? I can't remember who was with him, but those types of things. Anybody have any observations from the past week? Can you tell that we're already 44 minutes into a podcast and I got to kind of fly through the Giro so we can get to all the rest of the shit we want to talk about?
Go ahead, Jackson.
Jackson, go.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot to cover.
I think
go. I think the fact that Hugh Carthy woke up today, looked outside the window, and said, "We can win the Giro today," is a pretty big deal. And then EF went. TJ Van Garderen going to the front and just blasting it, it was good to see him doing some of his stuff as kind of the old days shown, and then to see that Carthy didn't drop too far back. I knew I should have picked him in the beginning.
I did.
And I think that
he's fucked.
Yeah. I think that battle between him and Caruso is going to be an interesting one to watch in the next couple stages to come.
Paul, you got anything? Sam, you got anything? Anybody want to jump right into this?
Well, I'm disappointed in Bennett, but although I thought he was going to be a little bit more competitive. Now as he's so far down, he's, just picking up.
Can we say something about Jumbo-Visma in that too, in terms that they're this gigantic, one of the world's top teams, and did it seem to anybody else like they came to this with
the B squad?
Yeah.
C squad. Well, George, I don't think George Bennett is C squad, but I think he had a bad start, and I think that just threw once he lost all that time is like, well, and then Groenewegen is closest he got was 4th place, and when his lead up man drops him and almost wins the sprint, gets second, that's, I think they just started off on the back foot, but
it hasn't seemed like anything that's really going on.
Simon Yates is the other one. I thought he was holding back the whole time because he screwed up in 2018.
Sure.
Because he was like winning everything. I thought he was just keeping it back. But today, kind of, you could see he's like, no.
Yeah.
But he's not. I mean, he's still in the top 5.
Even with Zonkolan, right?
Yeah.
It looked like he had more in him.
Yep.
And then he faded and, Egan Bernal just, walked away with it.
I was thinking today, I don't know what it is, but recently Yates is always gonna choke. That's how it kind of is always feeling. They get to that point where they're showing on TV that they can push for the overall GC, and then just out of nowhere they blow. Are there better riders out there? What's the trend? I don't know what it is.
Simon won the Vuelta, so the thing is, you think that the next logical step would be the Giro, but.
It's just a different set of mountains, though, too, and different climate. Like the Giro, if you look back historically, right, like the Giro always has horrible rain days, today. And so it's like some riders are better at riding in that than others. So it's like, I don't think that Simon Yates has, if you look at any of those, tours that he's done, I don't think he's ever done really well in foul weather or...
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, that's my other thing is there's just so many other pieces to this, too, that add into, mountains are different inclines. Like, man, I don't think that there's anything like a 27% grade in the Vuelta. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they have God, what's it called? Anyway, they have the famous one that they have that's...
Angleroo.
Angleroo, yeah. Angry Lou. Yeah.
Did you see Alberto Contador reacting? Jackson did, after
I think he went to the school of Mark Madio of acceleration. Exuberance. School of exuberance. See.
I thought it was awesome. I think it's great. I mean, I haven't seen anything. I love seeing that kind of emotion out of him.
Did you hear Jackson too about? He said if they won a stage, he would ride from, what city to Madrid?
Milan.
Yeah, Milan.
I keep thinking Milan to Minsk. That's how old I am. I keep thinking of Jerry Seinfeld references.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to do it now.
Yeah, 1,500 kilometers. Yeah.
Let me think here. Anybody thinking that Ineos has their proverbial shit together in terms of organizing the season? I mean, or is this their biggest card that they're going to play in the Grand Tours?
Is Geraint Thomas gearing up for the
tour?
Yeah,
that's my question.
And they still, because why am I blanking on the
Carapaz?
Nope. The other guy that won Worlds back in 2014.
Go Jay. What?
Kwiatkowski.
Yes, thank you. He's not even here, so it's like they have plenty of guns backed up to rip it at the tour.
You think so? I'm okay. I want to see Geraint win the tour. Jay, Jay's our stats man.
I'm really interested to see their tour team, because whether or not they bring Yates and Thomas or leave Yates for the Vuelta, that'll be an interesting thing, because there's also Carapaz, who was, I think, second in the Vuelta last year. but there's a lot. I think there are better riders than Yates and Thomas to ride the Tour. I mean, Pogačar and Roglic, I think, are at a better part in their career than both of those riders are. It'll be interesting to see.
I hate that there's a rest day tomorrow. I don't think they should have rest days. I think they should just entertain me all the time.
Your man, Bernardino, was one of the lead people that demanded they sat down and protested.
I never said he was my man.
Oh, yeah, he did. He's
I
your favorite
love
guy.
Bernardi. No, I don't know why. He's such an asshole. I just... You know what? If I was to date, I would probably be dating assholes again. You know, it's like the pretty girl who's just mean. That's probably where I'd go if I was in the dating world again. Thank you, Michelle. She can't hear me. She's not listening. Thank you for being the dream. You know, she and I just, 27 years. I do have to say, my wife and I hit 27 years.
Congratulations.
On the 21st day, somebody told me the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st week, something like that. It was like this huge, May 21st was our wedding anniversary. And it was so anyway, has nothing to do with bike racing. Is everybody keeping track here? We kept, hopefully everybody at home is keeping track of their points because there's swag on the line at the end of this golden rainbow of the Giro. And then we're going to go on. We've got a, Criterium Dauphiné starting in just over a week too. So.
Yep.
So we don't have to pick that one. But any closing Giro comments? I know I kind of condensed the Giro into a very short section. Jackson, you got anything you want to roll with to kind of take us out? Paul, you got anything? Sam, anybody?
Why am I blanking on the guy from ASOS, the one yesterday?
Quebec ASOS?
Yeah.
Campenuts.
Oh my God. How many times did you guys think that he was out? Watching that, and it was just like, I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of those times where you don't want to think it, but you're like, did he pay him off? Because, like, there's no way that he should have been there. Like, that guy was laying it into him.
But you're talking about world record, hour record holder.
I know. Yeah. I know.
And a guy who actually wrote with felt tip his phone number in a time trial, and then he saw a girl in the crowd. And they
Are you kidding me?
No, he got in trouble for that.
He pulled open his jersey to show his phone number.
Went like that and pointed to her and went on a date. It didn't stick after that, but yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
And the UCI did not like that. Yeah.
All right, that guy's savage.
Yeah, yes.
Good.
Yeah. There you go.
And his handlebars look like he's a gravel racer.
Now wait, what did you think, Bike Fit Sam, about his? Did you see his handlebars? And
bike. Once again, it's one of those Bike Fit things where it's like, yeah, God, you're gonna have a lot of wrist issues later on in life from being that, flexed, but
he's turned in.
And they're in, and his bars are flared too.
Yeah, and that's one of those other things that I think that people do that so that you could, like, previously rest on the, top, and that's fine, I guess. Like,
since they took away that arrow position, that's what they've created.
Yeah.
Now you're running 38 bars. You tried descending, like, down the, switchbacks with those.
Oh shit!
Might as well grab your stem.
I was gonna say, grab your stem and go downhill.
Yeah.
Jackson, you want to take us out?
Oh yeah, I on the theme of Quebec Assos, it's been the week for them.
Yeah, 3 out of 3 stages in 5 days, something like that. Yeah.
Mitsolo finally won that stage that he's been looking for so long. I think, what was it, 15 second places or like 11 second places, something like that. So good week for them, surprising week for them, and great week for BMC.
Oh,
yeah,
four
wins.
Bring that one up. Yeah.
One of our sponsors actually sells those.
Yes, that is true. Mojo Cyclery sells.
There you go. BMC. And Sam worked at a bike shop that had that.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
There was another local bike shop that sold BMCs?
Yeah. This Bike Life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
It's no longer
okay.
around.
Okay. Oh, rest in peace. Yeah. I remember them when they went under.
Yeah.
They were near here, too.
So does Mojo Cycles.
Yeah, they got the gig. So it's going to be a good one more week. It's been taking me, I think, at least a week and a half to shift my brain into stage racing. When I turn it on in the morning, there's an 11-minute gap, and I'm just like going, oh shit, this is going to be boring because it's not everything on the line. But I guess you got to get into the chess match a little bit more. I got to be nicer. So let's switch to our topic. Ironically, not ironically, because it's not irony. It's irony that I'm saying that it's ironic, because that's like an Alanis Morissette song. But it's brought to you by our friends at Mojo Cyclery. If you're a member of the Packfiller, don't forget to get a 20% discount on all things but bikes and trainers, because they don't have any bikes. A lot of people don't have bikes right now, and trainers I don't think they get a markup on trainers. So get over there and check out all the great service and selection. Also by our friends at Gemelli Coffee, the official pre of the Packfiller. You guys, I want to talk about camaraderie in the sport of cycling today. Sam doesn't even know what we're throwing him under the bus for here, but from the outside, cycling looks like a very much a solo effort. I think we could all probably agree on that. It's you and the bike. Surely there are varying levels when it comes to different types of cycling, but having teammates, friends, and even enemies are the vital elements of the sport. So I want to share some insight into the importance of actually riding with or even against others. Sam, your trip here, you're going with some brothers in arms, and one of them you might have to eat on the way here, but things like that.
The Oregon Trail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dysentery. Paul, you brought this topic to the table this morning by mentioning something you saw in the Giro, which was...
Well, George Bennett, when he finished the Zoncolan, was coming down in Alfini, helped him out get into position. And most people don't realize, but there isn't a bus, and some of those mountain finishes, their team bus, they have to ride down the mountain in order to get onto their bus. He's coming down, and Alfini, his teammate who helped him get up there, was struggling, and he turned around and climbed the Zoncolan a second time to be with his friend, and that was to help support, to get him up the hill. And to me, it's like that stuff you don't really hear about that much when it comes to road cycling. You hear about the star. And another example was David Miller was talking about in breakaways, where you'll be with a bunch of guys and you're working well, and pretty soon one of the guys goes, "I gotta go. I got word from the director that I need to help out so and so." And he said it happened to him. He was with Roberto Harris in a breakaway, which he ended up winning. That was the winning breakaway. And Roberto Harris says, "I just got word from Lance." This is when he was with Lance, with Postal. He says he didn't want me in this break, and he has to shut down.
Wow.
So there's a lot of sacrifice that people don't get to see or hear. That teammates, all these, that's why there's a team of 8 now. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
And this is obviously a time, the past year has been obviously a test of challenging the social elements of the sport and things like that. So my first thing to throw out there for all of you guys, and no particular order, how important is it for you to have a riding and or training buddy, somebody to go out there and be with? Sam, you were talking just recently about holding on, and things like that. How important is that? Are the people that you ride with? And I know that sounds cheesy. That sounds like an easy answer, but there we go.
Super important. I mean, it's just like those days. It's a very possible thing that I would have just not ridden yesterday, right? Yeah. Because I was in all sorts of hurt. My friend's like, "We're going to do 80 miles." Okay. So it's like I've had so many of those times. I was like texting you guys the other week, like, "So what are we doing this week?" Yeah. Because once again, I spent most of my time, even when I was racing at that Cat 1-2 level, like my training rides would be 80 miles, right? You go out for 4 hours and you can get in a good workout. You don't need to spend more time than that on a bike. So like, as I've discovered doing more, like I've done multiple 10-hour days now on a bike this year, and it's like you get to this point where you just, if you're alone with your thoughts for 10 hours,
you become a triathlete.
Yeah. It might happen.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like I remember my brother and I, when we did that loop out in the Palouse, Steptoe Butte, and like, man, when we were at 120 miles, we looked at each other like, this sucks. And it's like, but when you're in it, misery loves company, right? So I've been enough of those times where, and in races, I've had races where like teammates have come back and done that. It's like I'll spend a lot of time on the front, pulling them throughout the day, and then I'm like dragging getting back, and they come back and just chat with you to get you up there. Even if heck they sit on your wheel, it's like just having somebody there. It's nice.
Paul?
Oh yeah, I think, I don't know about everybody else, but I got into cycling on the individual level, not because I wanted to be a part of the team.
Yeah.
Unlike the other sports that I played, it was all team sports, and it was all about the team. But once you get into cycling, especially as you move up in category, it's all about the team. And I think that the average Joe watching cycling has no idea why would you start a race with 200 people when only one person wins and it's only like 5 or 6 people, but they would never make it without. And when you move up in category, if you don't have teammates, rarely do you get to win.
Yeah.
You have to be a real freak of nature to be in the part of that. And you get picked on by other teams if they know that you have no team help.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Jackson, I'd love your perspective on this. In terms of some of the, you're entering kind of your higher levels of passion about the sport and things like that. And I know you haven't had a whole lot of teammates except a bunch of old people like your dad.
Yeah, I for most of the year living here, I really trained by myself. I trained by myself all the way from early August, and then till I came back in November. And then when we came back, it was from January, pretty much till I came back 2 weeks ago. I had been kind of just training by myself, and it's something that is just kind of normal to me. I think being raised as an only child, that probably is a reason why I'm very kind of used to it. And it is so different. When we went on our 80 miler now 2 weekends ago, it was kind of refreshing having you guys there. Like my girlfriend and I ride together, but I never take her on like my big training rides or anything. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Sometimes it can be difficult to motivate yourself to get on the trainer when it's raining outside or do 40 miles by yourself. But it's just kind of something I've had to learn to cope with, and I think that's another reason why I'm a little quieter on the ride sometimes, just because I'm used to it being by myself.
See,
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like when you ride with other people, you have some accountability. You know what I mean? The total line you're talking about, Sam, with your buddies, like he did. Everybody remembers how much work they put in on that ride. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, dude, I've been sitting back here. I need it, and that's what's good about it. I think there's a point where in training, it's important to do a couple of solo rides. No one wants to do, if you're a power guy, just do a power ride on your power schedule or intervals. But accountability.
This is so a weird topic for me because I spent a gigantic portion of my cycling life training by myself. In my early years, the one and only Jack Broadhead and I did a lot of riding together. But after that, I did probably 80 to 90% of my riding all by myself. And my racing, I did too. In the early days, in my years of Aribe, when I became a Cat 2, all the other guys were gone, and I was the only guy on the team. And so I raced most of my races solo, and I had to learn how to tactically ride a race solo. I'm not saying that was better in any way, shape, or form, because the social dynamic is so important within it. And for example, this last Saturday, because I'm just so used to it, I went out into the middle of nowhere on a ride by myself. Did I send my wife a link of where I was going to be? Nope. And it was she able to come get me? Probably. If something happened, probably not. She was in an RV. I had the stabilizers down. I don't even know she knew how to get the stabilizers off the ground. She'd have driven away and destroyed the rig or something like that. What if I had a problem? And things like that. Second, would I have gone faster? Would I have ridden up that 5,000 feet climb harder? Almost 100% yes. Because I would have been there with somebody and we would have been joking around and things like that. Would I have gone longer? Would I have fought through some of the snow sections? Very well likely. Mm-hmm. And so those are things that I missed out on. So talk to me, and Jackson, this is going to be, again, an interesting perspective from you because I know you haven't had a whole lot of teammates over the years. So talk to me about some of the teammates and situations you were in that were just ideal for in terms of riding camaraderie, but also racing tactically really good scenarios or situations. If you want to name names, you can name names. I'm talking about the good ones right now, so to start off with. Anybody want to go first? I just throw you out there.
Well,
Sam's,
I've got so much. I've got so many. There's a team that we had, and this becomes when it was kind of on the cocky side, especially because Spokane's such a small little area.
Sure.
It's like when you have a team, and we had a Cat 1-2 team that really dominated Spokane area, and so all the training races were ours to lose, type of thing. And it's not fun for anybody else. And I've been on the receiving end, and I've been on the other end there too also. But we were doing a points race on this out at the Raceway Park as a half-mile oval.
Yeah.
And we dominated so much. There's a guy, his name is Perry, raced for another team, and I looked back at him because it was missing out. It was a missing out race.
Yeah.
So the last person that goes through, and we just set up whoever we wanted. And I dropped back and I said, "You're next." And I thought, now when I look back, I thought, what a prick, what a prick. But there's no way they could control.
I don't have an asshole.
I could see his look on his face is like, I hate you, and I understand why. But then on the other, there's a local team with a bunch of guys that are absolutely strong.
Yeah.
And I'm now on the shit end of the stick. But it's fun for me. I always look at it. It's fun for me. Now I have a group of guys. See how we can thwart them. We probably won't, but the challenge of trying to thwart a team that strong is a blast to me. That's fun. Mess it up.
You like to be a fly in the ointment a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I have no ointment.
Yeah. I'm dry. I'm dry.
Hey, you boys. Yeah, sweat out there.
Sam, you got any ideal Camelot style of teammates or camaraderie moments that you've had, or are you in the middle of it right now?
Yeah, I mean, so both sides. One, I've raced for, when I raced for Audi, amazing team, great director. He did an awesome job with providing us with what we needed. He pulled together a great group of strong riders, but there was never that bond.
Really?
There was just never that. I mean, so it was kind of I know you, and I know we're on the same team, but also I don't really want to die for you because, I kind of want to place well too.
Yeah.
Because it was also definitely a stepping stone team. So I've had that, and then I've had, the team that I'm on now is basically just a bunch of Freds, just a bunch of Yahoos, right? And we don't care how we do. It's just a fun group of guys that go out, and we do really well at races because, we're all just willing to work together. But my teams have always been on the west side, right? So I've always been on the receiving end of, for the most part. I guess there was one year that we raced on the same team together, but I was never around really for that. And so I've always enjoyed being on that because I love to mess with people. That's what I've found when I'm out riding. It's more of just how can I mess you guys up?
Yeah,
it's I don't care. I'm willing to die today, but I want to know that you're gonna die too. So it's how can I make them as not happy about the results as I can. And so it's fun to have those targets, the bad guys that you're up against.
Okay. Jackson, I know you. Like I said, this will be an interesting response from you in terms of how this all plays out.
Yeah, you want to know what's really depressing is I don't know if I have an answer.
No, that's not depressing, but maybe it is.
I don't know. I've been on one team, I guess now two teams. One when I was a junior, and there was one other guy, and now with Arrive. But that's kind of my limited experience, and especially because I had plans last year to race, or hoped to have plans to race. Obviously, we know that didn't happen. But this year, I hope to. However, with my location, it'll be kind of a solo effort. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily have an answer to this question.
Wow. No, that's.
I mean, you got into racing when COVID hit, so it's not really. Yeah,
it's not
a
fair.
few more years under your belt, and you'll have all of those.
Yeah, and you probably won't be riding on an old Masters team with your dad and what, Uncle Jack? Is that what Jack calls himself? How fucking creepy is that? How about worst team scenarios? I won't make you answer this one, Jackson, because it'll probably be the same. But are there any where you were just like, and you don't have to name names. I can name a name because I don't think he listens to the podcast anymore. I had a guy named Richie as a teammate of mine for many years, and he and I were not buddies, and we were in a lot of races together, and I remember vividly many times he would go out of his way and just be like, fuck him, I'm gonna win the race, or if I don't win the race, I don't give a shit about anybody else. I don't think the guy ever turned a pedal in my benefit in all of our years of riding together, and we were supposed to be teammates all these years, and it was just bullshit, and I still don't like the guy.
Do you think that's some of the reason why the team thing hasn't been a big?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. I mean, I'll be honest, like when we were just doing this fun little Thursday night spirited ride the other day, you were off and I was like, yeah, I'll fuck things up and play around back here for Sam just because I like that guy, and I was playing around in the field, and
it was fun.
It was a shit ton of fun. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, just kind of fucking things up.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
and see, that's why, once again, I guess I haven't ever had a teammate that's been a foe, because I think that it's always been that I started off in a collegiate team where it's like, there is no money out here. There is really no glory out here. It's just, let's go out and suffer together. So it was definitely always about like, hey, let's see if our team can beat, our rival team. But it is just, it's a fun thing to have. I've definitely had foes that are on other teams, and I'm like, once again, don't care if I win or lose today, but I guarantee you're not winning.
Really? Yeah, you'd be willing to.
I'd be willing to shell myself. And just if they're going off the front, I guarantee you I'm marking their wheel. Mm-hmm. And when they start flipping me through, I'm not coming through. Yeah. And just stare them straight in the eyes. Today's not your day, boy.
Paul, have you ever been a outwardly blaring
I've had for teams. I've had from just basically I'm almost the only guy on the team to having a great team, and then having, I think, like you were talking about Audi, and you experienced UNCP on a team from the west side, where you show up at races, you don't even know this guy's name, it's like, and I've been on those teams too, but I think the best team is when you don't even have to train together, but you're on the same agenda, and you have to accept your role. My role was always, I was the donkey. I chased things down. I wasn't a peripheral winner or anything like that.
You know what they also call donkeys?
Yeah.
You were the ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but those are the things. But it's fun to be a part of a team, because most of the sports that I did was team oriented. Is to be a part of that. The worst is when you have a massive team, and the last team that I was on got so big. There's people that we went to this race. Everybody grab a drink.
Oh,
yeah, Turtle Bloom.
Turtle Bloom, Drake.
Jackson's got an empty Coke can. We had a guy in the GC on the very last stage, and it was going up to Mission. It was a road race going up to Mission Ridge. Yeah, and the guy's strong. The guy who was in the lead did a very good job, and he got into position through some team tactics we did on the crit the day before. And this guy came up and he says, what should I do? And I said, whatever John, who was our lead guy, whatever he wants, you don't leave, you do everything he says, because you're the only one that's going to stay with him in the climb. And number 2 guy had one of those guys. I said, so if he tells you attack, blah, 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 blah. We hit the base of the hill, and I start watching. It's like slow motion. They're pulling away. because I shit at climbing. And I'm watching, and the guy just attacks and takes off. And John gets, the guy in second place takes off and chases him, and he pulls him all the way up the hill. No. And we lose the race. And I'm like, what the hell? And John blew up because he's trying to catch up with him. I'm actually catch John at one point. And so what happened? He goes, I don't know. He goes, he took. I said, did you tell him? And he said, no, but I didn't think to tell him to stop. It's like, this guy, was obviously selfish. But then the guy in second place dropped him. Then he drops back and he says, John, what can I do to help you? Well, it's a little freaking late.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When you don't, I didn't know this guy very well, and I'm just like, you dickhead.
Yeah.
But there's no family. You got to have that family thing.
Yeah, I mean, like in the when you have a close enough group, you don't even have to necessarily you just show up, and it's the same group with we're now. It's like, who feels awesome today?
Yeah.
And, and it's like me. Okay, you're the dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you don't even have to I'm throwing the next punch, and then it's like the next person. Okay, I guess I'm throwing the next punch. It's like
really?
You don't even have to really communicate that. When you have that. But yeah, when you have random people that aren't normal on the team that
Sure.
I have to admit that or explain that guy came from the triathlete world.
See, there's your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about nemesis? How about the importance of having somebody that you just truly want to beat? I mean, let's be honest. This is a competitive sport, and I'm not just talking about road, by the way. Here, I don't want this to be known as just a roadie podcast because. And also that having teammates in mountain, in gravel, in track, in things like that, it is crucial, but it is different. It serves a different purpose. But I want to know about that person you just go out of your way to beat. Karsten, if he was on this show right now, I could tell him to his face. There were many races I went in with Karsten where I was just like, I just don't fucking want you to win, man.
And then he crashed himself out, so that was okay.
You know what? Karsten gets bad mouth for one big crash that happened to be,
but
kind of his doing. But there were a lot of races he and I were in. I was just like going, okay, Karsten, I just got to make sure he doesn't do well. And there were, and now we're friends.
Yeah.
Quote unquote friends.
Well, I think you
I'm
can
kidding,
see,
Karsten. I love you, man.
I think you see that even in the morning ride guys. Even though there's always some person ahead of you that you want to beat.
Yeah.
These guys, you can talk to everyone. It's like that's my target.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of cycling. It doesn't have to be a race, but you go out for rides or a group ride, whatever. A group of individuals, not even on a team, and there's always somebody you're gonna mark. That guy's beating me on the hill. On this hill, I'm gonna get it. And that's what's cool about cycling, I think.
Jackson, you had one in the Wednesday night series last year. You had that one dude. You were like, I just gotta beat that guy.
Yeah, he was the only one that was really close to me in the point standings, and I remember crashing, and he saw that I crashed, and I saw him give his entire spirit into those pedal strokes that he was doing that day, and luckily I was able to catch him on the climb, having the whole roadie fitness and all that. But yeah, it was just a constant back and forth thing that I always had to beat him, and I did. No big deal.
NBD.
I won. NBD. Sam, any nemesis over the years?
Yeah, I mean, there's always what Paul was saying, the friendly, just guys that, I'm competitive and I want to beat them. It's fun. But then there's definitely those guys that are I might hate you as a human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, once again, it's just really hard to not get too wrapped up in that. But there's definitely been foes throughout the year where I'm just I don't really care what you're doing today. I'm just making it so that, you're not going to win. And I'm, I'll help my teammates and do what I need to. But, my teammates and I have definitely signed a pact, too. You just make sure that guy doesn't win. If I'm going to die today, I need you to die to make sure that guy doesn't win.
Wow.
So, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, and it keeps things, fun to a certain extent, right? But it also, if you get too wrapped up in the negativity of it, then it's also,
sure,
that can be a pretty poisoning thought.
I think we can all walk away from the discussion just realizing that we're all a bunch of immature, childish fucks.
Yeah, I
think
am.
it's primal.
Yeah.
The being competitive. That's all.
Well, I mean, when we went on that one ride, remember, like, right when we all met up at the end, I just looked at you and I was like, I was a real ass today. Like, I was up there just like, I was in the break, and I was just like, I'm still going to mess with every one of you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think that, it's probably primal to an extent, and it's also just...
Do you ever finish a ride or a race or something like that and just want to go up to somebody and go, dude, I'm sorry, I've just... The inner asshole in me just kind of took over. Do you guys ever do that?
No, I was trying to punish him with the pedals, not with my mouth. Yeah.
Oh, see, I do both.
You're saying, like, apologize?
Yeah, just like, sorry, man, that was just the heat of the moment.
I called you a dickhead 10 times.
Yeah. Dick.
No,
Dick. I said,
Dick.
don't be a dick.
Oh, okay.
Not dickhead. Come on, man.
Difference there.
I think being a millennial, I'm more passive.
Oh, yeah?
Just like, hey, yeah, that was all just out on the court, so we're cool, right?
Really? I haven't heard Jackson yell at anybody on a bike.
He's too nice.
He is.
I think I told you and Sam this, but there was someone who was kind of chirping at me a little bit, and it's like in those moments, that's when it'll come out. You know, if someone's chirping, I'll chirp back. That's I think I'm like a bear. Weird way to compare myself, but I'll only come out if you provoke it.
Okay.
Your dad doesn't need that. He just doesn't.
I'm the rooster.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you!
I mean,
I've got talents.
Yeah. Exactly, right? I'm a cock.
Like, they're also, back to the, like, primal thing, too. Like, isn't it just, I mean, Jackson that's like what you're talking about. When you're pinned and on the red line, like, and somebody is chirping at you, like, man.
Oh.
I've lost it a few times. Because it's like, that filter's gone.
See, I just enter a ride, and if somebody, somebody fucking points to a wheel like they want my draft or something like that, and they'll point to them. Some people will just kind of laugh and not do anything. I'll look at you, I will verbally say "fuck off" or something like that. I will do that, and I don't know if I necessarily mean it, but it'll just come out of my face. I'll just be like "fuck you," and I'm like, God, thank God.
As you're wearing all your Packfiller.
Yeah. Thank God I'm the sponsor.
Oh, and by the way, listen to the show.
Be sure to listen to the show. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I say, like 0.5% of the people who call into the show.
See, I always play dumb when somebody tries to squeeze in, and I'm kind enough. If I look, I can gain advantage. I'll let them in. Yeah. If not, if they're like somebody, like when you're going down the highway and you can see everybody has submerged in one lane. And you got that one dickhead that takes it all the way.
I'm the guy who gets close to the car in front of me, not letting that fucker in.
Don't make eye contact. Yeah. I don't make eye contact. And they start moving over. I just stick my elbow out and just keep them out.
Really?
And not say anything, just like,
So you're passive-aggressive. I'm aggressive.
Yeah, you can ask my wife. I'm passive-aggressive.
Ask your wife. Jackson, we won't make Maria answer that one.
What was the question?
If you're passive aggressive or just aggressive.
Oh, I know I'm passive aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know myself too well.
All right. 123. We got to end with some fun. Everybody ready for some enjoyment time? This is brought to you by our friends at Scratch Labs. Thanks, Scratch Labs. New flavor grapes out. There was something else that was new.
Rice.
Peach. The rice. Oh, the rice cakes are really good. Those are.
And
really
you promised
good.
me some, and
Rice
I didn't
Krispie
get
treats.
any.
Really? Yeah. I'll get you one here.
Wait, they sell like
that wasn't passive aggressive.
It's like a Rice Krispie treat, but with brown rice and not quinoa. I fucking hate
quinoa.
It's chia seeds or something like that. It sounds bad, but it's honestly like I think I said earlier. It's like a college when people used to send you care packages of Rice Krispie treats. It's like that, but better for you and tastes like you're an adult.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
ScratchLabs.com, SKRATACH, labs.com. I don't know if that was a slinging endorsement for them or not. But
I want to try one now.
They're good.
Yeah,
they're really fucking good.
Because I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Mentally. I mean, physically. So you guys ready for a round of Would You Rather? Because I didn't want to do anything where you had to chime in quickly because Jackson is online.
Handicapped.
And we'd have to give him the gap.
And he's passive aggressive.
Yeah, and he's passive. He'll just take the low points, stuff like that. So, gentlemen, number one, would you rather ride in the cold or ride in the super hot? Jackson Bulger.
Easy, super hot.
Super hot. Paul Mann.
Super hot, easy.
Really? Sam?
Super hot.
I don't mind the cold. I'd almost take the cold. Number two, would you race in a crit on a time trial bike or a fully suspended mountain bike? Jackson Bulger.
Oh, a fully suspended mountain bike.
Nah, TT bike.
TT bike.
TT bike for Sam?
Yeah.
It's risky, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. What a challenge.
I might full suspend the mountain bike too. Would you rather race a gravel race on a road bike or a mountain bike? I know what Paul's answer is going to be.
Yeah,
Jackson.
so you can skip me.
Jackson.
Me? Mountain bike.
Mountain bike. Paul, definitely road bike. Yeah. Road. Sam?
Road bike.
I'd do it on a mountain bike. Would you rather do a full weekend of track racing or a long distance road overnighter?
Track, easy.
Paul?
Oh, yeah, track. Yeah.
Sam?
Man.
Well, talking to a guy who's going to be doing it.
Yeah, I know. I guess like road, but man, track is maybe track.
Yeah.
This is just a cruel event.
It's really insane, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you did in your past life, you paid for it, man.
It borderline
It's okay.
stupid.
Yeah, it
but
is.
anyway, that's my
is.
opinion.
Yep.
Jackson, track racing or a long distance road overnighter?
I think I'd do a long distance road overnighter.
Me too.
You're crazy.
Yep. Number 5, would you rather ride 100 miles on a Sandpaper chamois or in a full-face motorcycle helmet? Jackson Bulger, full-face motorcycle helmet or a chamois made of sandpaper? 100 miles. Think of the neck.
With enough chamois cream, I think you could make that bad boy smooth.
That's what I was going to say. How much Vaseline do I get?
I'm old enough I had a real chamois and forgot to put cream on, so I know I can make the Sandpaper thing.
Do you ride chamois cream every time?
No, on longer rides I do.
I do too.
With real chamois. Remember the goat skin?
Yeah.
I had the real.
Oh, you had the real deal.
I had the real deal. And if you wash those and you don't put
it's like
chamois
Sandpaper.
cream, yeah, well, hopefully you start getting some ball sweat to soften it up because otherwise,
Once you stop, you're screwed.
Yeah, starts running out. Yeah, it's no good.
Jackson, did you get to answer? You said the chamois, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would do a full-faced motorcycle helmet for 100 miles?
Stupid. Would you?
No, that'd be fucking painful.
See?
That neck and back
my
pain.
neck would just be blown out.
Oh, yeah.
I got a roadie neck already.
Yeah. This one has to do with Sam's profession. Would you rather deal with a bad bar and stem position or a bad saddle position?
Bar and stem for me.
Bar and stem?
Yeah.
He already deals with a bad saddle.
It was an easy one.
Yeah, I already got one. Why two?
Yeah.
Jackson, which of the two sins would you prefer?
Oh, I've had a bad saddle, and I'd much rather do a bar and stem.
Sam? You neither.
I would rather do a bad bar and stem.
Really?
Man, have you seen his saddle position? Like, you could not ride like that.
Because it's so far.
The nose is so far up. Like, you
but
wouldn't
we've
feel
had that
anything.
discussion. I've been married for 26 years.
True.
So that's like,
1 degree.
yeah. Every time is you brace the nose up.
Yeah.
There's no usage for
Trees don't grow in the desert.
Somewhere around that 26 degree mark that he's at now. Like, I think it's past 15. You lose feeling below the belt. So.
Okay.
And then I don't feel the pain in my legs.
Exactly.
There you go.
I hate bar and stem problems. I might go bad saddle.
Wow.
If a brand new bike of your choice was on the line, would you rather win with an asshole teammate or lose with a friend? This is so fucking after school special of a question.
If the bike of your dream,
if there's a bike on the line, if you win, you get the bike. Would you rather win with an asshole or lose with a friend?
but it's a bike of your dreams.
Yeah. You'd win with an asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Do I
That's
ever have to
realistic.
talk to the guy again? Like, I mean,
I
I'm
never
a one
said
and
that
done.
part.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll,
because that's
and
what I'm
done.
thinking.
Exactly.
It's
I'm this
I'm
guy's
only an
done.
asshole.
Yeah,
well, I'm
exactly.
always an asshole, but I was thinking it's just one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackson?
Yeah, I'd win with them because even if I have to talk to him again, I'm dropping that man immediately.
This defines
I got
us
my new bike.
Yeah. This defines us all as materialistic pricks because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Would you rather race in sneakers or race in basketball shorts?
Basketball shorts.
Yeah. The airflow would be phenomenal.
Yeah. The chafing would just be
astronomical.
Yeah.
Jackson, you were basketball shorts?
Yeah.
I raced in sneakers. I remember I went to Friday night track at the Velodrome.
Remember that story?
And we drove all the way to Seattle, which for those of you who don't know, it's a 5-hour drive back in the days when it was 55 miles an hour, and my dad drove 55. We got over there, and I realized I didn't bring my cycling shoes, and he says, "You're racing." I raced a track in my sneakers. I do want to say this, and I do want to say...
Did you beat Karsten that day?
I do want to say this. I have never lost on the track.
Wow.
I stopped when I was 15, 16, but I have never lost on the track.
Yeah. Even in your
I won on the sneakers. Yeah, I won on the sneakers.
That's nutty.
I'm an amazing human being. Did
you hear that, Michelle?
Yeah. Right, honey? Would you rather run 10 kilometers to the start of every ride or drive 2 hours to the start of every ride?
Easy. That's drive.
You'd rather drive 2 hours to the start of every ride?
Yeah, I'm not going to run anywhere. I hate running.
Jackson, 10K run or 2 hour drive?
2 hour drive. I feel like that's so much easier.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Sam?
God, that's a good question.
You guys are triathletes.
No!
Well, no, it's just like I'm thinking I could get an exercise in, and give the other people a chance.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
He's on his third beer.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I do hate running passionately, so I would drive.
Yeah.
I would run. I would run 10K. I would do it because that's a lot of time. That's 2 hours, man. And that what makes me think about some people who are unfortunate and live in big cities where they have to drive like all those distances to get to a bike ride. You poor sons of bitches. Yeah. Okay, this is a very serious would you rather. And Jackson, I don't know if it applies to you, but would you rather give up coffee or give up beer? Jackson, I'll let you answer first to give these guys time.
Beer, easy. I have a Coke currently.
He does, an empty Coke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you come back?
Beer?
No. I would give up beer.
I'd give up beer.
Really?
Because I think you can give like flavored beer into like coffee somehow. I would go down that road.
So you pour vodka in your coffee or something.
No, I just switch over to wine.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't lose coffee. Coffee is a crucial part of my regimen.
I am bourbon boy now, apparently.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I did say that on my Strava. You're like full bottle of bourbon, and you're still riding. Jesus Christ. So before we finish up, Sam, talk to me about Ambassador. Talk to me about what this is and what you got going on.
Yeah, no, thank you. So Ambassador Cycling is just something that I started up. I mean, really, I guess it started up a year ago. And the whole point of it, picked the name because I believe in being an ambassador to the sport. I think being on two wheels is the best way to be. And yeah, I do bike fits based out of Tailwind Physical Therapy. So I've now combined being a mechanic at a shop for 6 years to having a degree in kinesiology and being a physical therapist assistant. So combining all those trades into doing bike fits. And so I can either adjust the bike to work best for you, or I can, make it so your bike or your body works a little bit better for the bike. Because, I mean, it's both ways, right? Like, Paul has more issues with needing to, work on muscles of the lateral hip.
Sure.
Some people need to do more bike, adjustments. So I can do all of that.
Is this something that has to be an in-person kind of a thing?
That's a really good question. So I've just now started dabbling. I have a few friends that are over in Europe, and so I've done telefits.
Really?
Actually, so setting up a camera and doing, like, they do it from a side shot and then front shot, and I can actually tell them, because you can throw a goniometer, how you measure the angles, up on the...
You just made that word up.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Up on...
Because it didn't sound real.
Yeah. Fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was, man. Yeah.
You got a Webster?
And you can, do that. But I think my next goals with Ambassador Cycling would be to grow into doing, like helping people pick a bike. So if you want to, I know I want to get into the road scene, gravel scene, we can see what works best for you. And then direct you to what bikes would work best, and you can go pick that out. Hopefully your local bike shop.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, there's probably, who knows, maybe I would do more custom stuff in the future. Working with like elephant bikes, that type of stuff, where I do more sizing and then relay the numbers over.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
a lost art too. The custom bike, when you're talking about, you go to a shop and it's small, medium, large, or extra large. You're like, whoa, really? Yeah.
And it's just, when a bike fits, like, it just disappears underneath you. And I think I first had that experience in college, and I was like, this is game changing. Like, sitting on a bike doesn't have to hurt,
Yeah.
And so it's like any pain. People ask me all the time, like, oh, well, my foot hurts or my hands go numb. It's like, I guarantee you, like, that's bike related. If you're getting on the bike, you don't have the problems in your just day to day life, it's bike related.
Yeah.
We can fix that.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
So tell me, for the average Joe who's listening to this, who goes, wait, wow, okay, where, when, how do I find it?
Yeah.
How do I get it?
So if you look up, since it is new, I have a website up now, ambassadorcycling.com.
Okay.
We have an Instagram, and but you can call Tailwind Physical Therapy in Spokane, and they'll get you on my schedule. But you can either reach out through the website. All that is directed to me. So website or going through Tailwind. And we'll get you scheduled for a fit.
Hot damn. That's all assuming you make it back from the ride.
Yeah, that is assuming. There may not be an Ambassador Cycling, bike fit company.
You might be charged for cannibalism.
Yes.
Yeah, I keep thinking of Grizzly Man, the Werner Herzog movie, where he's just like listening to the audio.
One of the best directors in
listening
the world.
to the audio of your guys' like third day into the race, and he's like, oh, I hear screaming. Oh, this was horrible. You should not keep these tapes. You should burn these tapes. And that's what's going to be the audio. You guys eat the cameraman who's going with you. And he's like, don't release this video.
Yeah, it's going to be...
It was horrible.
It's going to be something. I'm really excited to see where this goes. All those Gone Racing videos I've been watching. Mm-hmm. And Lachlan goes into some dark places.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Like American Flyers meets Alive.
Yes.
Where the Brazilian soccer team eats themselves. Were they Brazilian or were they Chilean? It was Chilean Andes and it was Brazilian soccer team.
Yeah.
I think so. I read the book in grade school, so... And I didn't really read it. I'm not going to lie. But so there we go. Cool, man. Thanks for that. Hey, everybody. Be sure and tune in. Be sure to keep up with the podcast. Tell a friend. Rate us on iTunes. Keep the rubber side down. Keep your points going in terms of what's happening with the Giro, because I'm not going to tabulate them for you. And if you win, you get swag. You get stuff that we send to you. Once again, as usual, Paul Main, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Jackson Bolger, thank you for being there in Portland. Sorry about the scratch bike behind your head.
It's still beautiful and rides like a dream.
That's what they all say. Sam, thanks for coming, man. And definitely got to have you on more often, right?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always good to be here.
All right, boys and girls. I guess that's it. Hour and 38 into a podcast that originally started out to be an hour. Hope you stuck with us. Catch you next time. That's out.